Good evening, and welcome to your AIDailyPress evening podcast for March 12, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Firstly, the U.S.-Israel war on Iran has reached a critical juncture with significant implications for regional and global stability. The conflict has led to a surge in oil prices and market instability, with Russia's fossil fuel revenues increasing by 14% since the start of the attack. In related news, the global energy market is experiencing a significant shift, with Russia's fossil fuel revenue averaging $510 million per day. The U.S. is considering lifting some sanctions on Russian oil exports to stabilize global energy prices, but not everyone agrees that this is the right approach. Finally, we're seeing a complex interplay between geopolitical tensions, business strategies, and technological innovations in various parts of the world. A Ukrainian drone attack on southern Russia has resulted in casualties, while companies like IKEA are withdrawing from the Russian market due to public pressure. Meanwhile, a Russian distillery is seeking to trademark vodka under the brand name of former U.S. President Donald Trump, and global spirits company Pernod Ricard has announced its decision to exit the Russian market. These stories reflect the rapidly changing landscape of international relations, energy markets, and business strategies. We'll continue to monitor these developments and provide in-depth analysis and updates as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and Nanshal and know it's right now. Good evening, I'm Barbara, and this is the AIDailyPress Evening Podcast. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskwiser.
Thank you, Barbara. We've been closely following the escalating conflict between Iran, the U.S., and Israel. The situation remains volatile, with significant economic and military implications. Oil prices have surged, and concerns about global supply chains are growing. The International Energy Agency has released a record amount of oil from its stockpiles to mitigate the impact, but it's unclear if this will be enough to stabilize markets. In the world of trade, the Trump administration has announced new investigations into over a dozen U.S. trade partners, including the European Union, Mexico, China, and others. These probes will focus on unfair trading practices, such as persistent trade surpluses or underutilized capacity. The current tariff landscape is complex, with the Supreme Court striking down many of President Trump's country-specific tariffs in February. As Bernd Lange, head of the European Parliament's Trade Committee, aptly put it, no one can make sense of it anymore, only open questions and growing uncertainty for the EU and other U.S. trading partners. We'll continue to keep you informed about these developments and their impact on global markets. Remember, as the great economist once said, the only constant is change. And, as I always say, don't worry, it's just tariffs. It's not the end of the world yet. Stay informed, but also be prepared for unexpected developments. Now, for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, we explored a groundbreaking discovery in astrophysics, where researchers observed a gamma-ray burst that challenges our current understanding of the universe. This phenomenon has significant implications for our knowledge of cosmic events and the behavior of matter in extreme conditions. Secondly, we followed the journey of the Van Allen probe, a remarkable spacecraft that has been providing unprecedented data on the Earth's radiation belts. As the probe re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, it serves as a reminder of the importance of responsible space exploration and the need for continued innovation in this field. Lastly, we delved into a breakthrough in photonics, where researchers successfully created a twist-induced orbital chirality in a photonic laser. This innovative achievement has the potential to revolutionize the way we think about light and its applications in various fields, from compact on-chip lasers to advanced spectropolarimetric hyperimaging. These stories represent the incredible advancements being made in science and technology, and we're excited to continue exploring these topics in future episodes. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. We've been following the Seattle Seahawks free agency moves, and it's clear that they've made calculated decisions to bolster their roster despite losing key pieces from their Super Bowl championship team. Cornerback Josh Jobe and running back George Halani are among the winners, while wide receiver Torrey Horton faces a tougher road ahead. In other news, we've been analyzing the Kansas City Chiefs' off-season changes, including the acquisition of Kenneth Walker III to bolster their rushing game. However, questions persist about Patrick Mahomes' health, the team's overall strategy, and readiness for the upcoming season. The Chiefs' defense, particularly the pass rush, is another area of concern. We've also been keeping an eye on the NFC West Division, where the Los Angeles Rams have revamped their secondary, and the San Francisco 49ers have strengthened their receiving core. The betting markets have responded accordingly, with the Rams currently favored to win the division. As we move forward, it will be fascinating to observe how these developments unfold and which teams emerge as contenders in the 2024 season. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. First, we took a journey to Africa, where we explored the story of a country investing in renewable energy and innovation to drive growth. Unfortunately, this article is not available, but I can tell you it was an inspiring look at how nations can come together to address the challenges of climate change. Next, we traveled to Ireland, where we delved into the complex issue of peat extraction and its impact on the environment. We learned about the importance of peatlands as a carbon sink, habitat for wildlife, and natural filter for river waters. However, we also saw how industrial stripping for turf and peat moss has led to an environmental catastrophe. Finally, we returned to Ireland once more, where we examined the delicate balance between economic needs and environmental protection in the context of peat extraction. We heard from local residents, farmers, and environmental activists, and explored the rich history and cultural significance of the Irish landscape. These stories remind us that environmental issues are often intertwined with economic and social concerns, and that finding sustainable solutions requires a nuanced understanding of these complexities. Good night and farewell. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we've got the Oscars just around the corner, and we're excited to see what the night has in store. From the red carpet pre-show to the main event, we'll be bringing you all the glamour and glitz of Hollywood's A-listers. Don't forget to tune in to Conan O'Brien as he hosts the ceremony for another year. Next, we took a closer look at the talented nominees for the Best Actor award. With standout performances from Jacob Elordi, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, Coleman Domingo, and Bradley Cooper, it's going to be a tough competition. We spoke with industry experts who highlighted the dedication, passion, and craftsmanship that each nominee has brought to their craft. And finally, we dove into the drama-filled world of perfumery, where Jo Malone is being sued by Estee Lauder companies for using her own name in a collaboration with Zara. It's a tale of power, contracts, and the importance of reading the fine print. As the first always say, be careful what you sign on the dotted line, especially when it comes to your name and brand. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Atanacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we looked at the issue of conservation in Kenya's natural habitats, where the removal of garden ants by smugglers could have devastating consequences for ecosystems. The arrest of a Chinese national attempting to smuggle over 1,000 queen garden ants out of the country has brought attention to the growing demand for these insects as exotic pets and the need for stricter regulations to protect them. Secondly, we explored the revolutionary use of silicone wristbands in monitoring exposure to synthetic chemicals, particularly PFAS. These non-invasive tools are changing the game by providing a more comprehensive picture of chemical exposure over time, helping scientists identify overlooked pathways of exposure and inform environmental health decisions. Lastly, we visited the story of Kenya's efforts to combat wildlife trafficking, highlighting the case of garden ants and the broader implications of the global trade in wildlife. From ants to elephants, the impact of human activities on the natural world requires our attention and action. These stories remind us of the intricate relationships between humans, wildlife, and the environment, and the need for innovative solutions and responsible actions to mitigate the consequences of our interactions with the natural world. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.